Austria. Austria, formerly the Republic of Austria, is a landlocked country in Central Europe located in the Eastern Alps. It is a federation of 9 states, with Vienna as its capital. Austria has a rich history dating back to the Paleolithic period. With Christianization beginning in the 4th and 5th centuries, the country emerged from the remnants of the Eastern and Hungarian March, becoming a major imperial power in Central Europe. Austria-Hungary was established in 1867 after the dissolution of the empire in 1804. The country's defeat in wars and loss of territories led to the establishment of the Republic of German Austria in 1918 and the First Austrian Republic in 1919. Austria was annexed into Nazi Germany in 1934 and became a subnational division. After liberation in 1945 and a decade of Allied occupation, Austria declared its perpetual neutrality in 1955. Austria is a semi-presidential representative democracy with a popularly elected president as head of state and a chancellor as head of government and chief executive. It has the 13th highest nominal GDP per capita and high living standards. Austria has been a member of the United Nations since 1955 and the European Union since 1995. Etymology. The native name for Austria, Österreich, derives from the Old High German Ostarki, which meant Eastern Realm, and which first appeared in the Ostarki document of 996. This word is probably a translation of medieval Latin Marcia Orientalis into a local Bavarian dialect. Austria was a prefecture of Bavaria, created in 976. The word Austria is a Latinization of the German name and was first recorded in the 12th century. At the time, the Danube basin of Austria, Upper and Lower Austria, was the easternmost extent of Bavaria. History. Austria, a region in modern-day Austria, has a rich history dating back to pre-Roman times. The Celtic kingdom of Naricum, which included most of modern Austria and parts of modern Slovenia, was conquered by the Roman Empire in 16 BC, making a province called Naricum. The regions not within the province were divided between the Roman provinces of Pannonia and Rhaetia. Petronell Carnuntum, an important army camp in the Pannonia Superior, was home to 50,000 people for nearly 400 years. In the Middle Ages, Austria was invaded by various tribes, including the Germanic Rugii, Odoacer, Ostrogoths, Alemanni, Biovarii, Slavs, and Avars. Charles Magny, king of the Franks, conquered the area in 788, encouraged colonization, and introduced Christianity. The core areas of Austria were bequeathed to the House of Babenberg, who became the Marcia Orientalis in 976. The first record of the name Austria is from 996, where it is written as Ostarki. In 1156, the Privilegium Minus elevated Austria to the status of a duchy, and in 1192, the Babenbergs acquired the Duchy of Styria. Ottokar II of Bohemia assumed control of the duchies of Austria, Styria, and Carinthia, but his reign ended with Rudolf I of Germany's defeat at Dürnkreuz in 1278. Austria's history was largely that of its ruling dynasty, the Habsburgs. In the 17th and 18th centuries, Austria controlled most of Hungary under Leopold I, Holy Roman Emperor after the Great Turkish War. Charles VI relinquished many gains and offered Maria Theresa as his heir, leading to the Austria-Prussia rivalry in Germany. Austria became the birthplace of classical music and played host to composers like Joseph Haydn, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Ludwig van Beethoven, and Franz Schubert. In the 19th century, Austria faced numerous challenges in its relationship with Germany, including the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the German Confederation. The empire was founded in 1815 and faced numerous social, political, and national conflicts. Austria was part of the Allied forces that invaded France in 1814, ending the Napoleonic Wars. In 1815, it emerged as one of the continent's 4 dominant powers and recognized great power. The Austro-Hungarian Compromise of 1867 provided for a dual sovereignty between Austria and Hungary under Franz Joseph I. This diverse empire included various groups, including Germans, Hungarians, Croats, Czechs, Poles, Rusyns, Serbs, Slovaks, Slovenes, Ukrainians, and large Italian and Romanian communities. However, ruling Austria-Hungary became increasingly difficult due to emerging nationalist movements and the need for an expanded secret police. Many Austrians promoted strong pan-Germanism, hoping to reinforce an ethnic German identity and annex Austria to Germany. This led to ethnic tension between German Austrians and other ethnic groups, leading to the exclusion of Austria from Germany. Pan-German nationalists protested against the language decree of 1897, which made German and Czech co-official languages in Bohemia and required new government officials to be fluent in both languages. This led to the Away from Rome movement, initiated by supporters of Schöner, calling on German Christians to leave the Roman Catholic Church. In the early 20th century, Austria-Hungary annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina in 1908, leading to World War I. The Provisional National Assembly for German Austria was formed in Vienna on October 21, 1918, forming the Republic of German Austria. This new government was invited by the Emperor to participate in the planned armistice with Italy, but refrained from doing so. On November 11th, the Emperor declared he would not take part in state business and declared Germany-Austria a democratic republic and part of the new German Republic. The Treaty of Saint-Germain of 1919 confirmed and consolidated the new order of Central Europe, creating new states and altering others. The German-speaking parts of Austria were reduced to a rump state, named the Republic of German Austria, excluding South Tyrol. The Treaty of Saint-Germain and the Treaty of Versailles explicitly forbade union between Austria and Germany, leading to the First Austrian Republic. Over 3 million German-speaking Austrians lived outside the new Austrian Republic as minorities in the newly formed or enlarged states of Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Hungary, and Italy. The border between Austria and the Kingdom of Yugoslavia was settled with the Carinthian plebiscite in October 1920, setting the border on the Karavank mountain range. After World War II, inflation began to devalue the krone, and Austria was granted an international loan supervised by the League of Nations to stabilize the currency and improve economic conditions. The Austrian shilling was introduced in 1925, replacing the krone at a rate of 10,000 to 1. The First Austrian Republic lasted until 1933, when Chancellor Engelbert Dollfuss established an autocratic regime tending towards Italian fascism. In 1938, Austrian Nazis took over the government and German troops occupied the country, preventing Schuschnigg's referendum from taking place. On March 13, 1938, the Anschluss was officially declared, and Adolf Hitler announced the reunification of his home country with the rest of the German Reich. Parliamentary elections were held in Germany on April 10, 1938, with a single-question referendum asking whether voters approved of a single Nazi party list for the 813-member Reichstag and the recent annexation of Austria. In Austria, 99.71% of an electorate of 4,484,475 officially went to the ballots, with a positive tally of 99.73%. Although most Austrians favored the Anschluss, in certain parts of Austria, the German soldiers were not always welcomed with flowers and joy, especially in Vienna, which had Austria's largest Jewish population. Despite the propaganda and manipulation surrounding the ballot box result, there was massive genuine support for Hitler for fulfilling the Anschluss, as many Germans from both Austria and Germany saw it as completing the long overdue unification of all Germans into one state. On March 13, 1938, Austria was annexed by the Third Reich and ceased to exist as an independent country. The Aryanization of the wealth of Jewish Austrians started immediately in mid-March with a so-called wild phase. Adolf Eichmann, who grew up in Austria, was transferred to Vienna and ordered to persecute the Jews. During the November pogrom in 1938, Reichskristallnacht, Jews and Jewish institutions such as synagogues were subjected to violent attacks in Vienna, Klagenfurt, Linz, Graz, Salzburg, Innsbruck, and several cities in Lower Austria. Otto von Habsburg, a vehement opponent of the Nazis, was wanted by the Nazi regime, and his property would have been expropriated, and he would have been shot immediately if he were caught. Most resistance groups were soon crushed by the Gestapo, but the Meyer-Messner group managed to contact the Allies and provide information about mass executions and concentration camps such as Auschwitz. After World War II, Austria was divided into military occupation zones, governed by the Allied Commission for Austria. The Austrian government, consisting of Social Democrats, Conservatives, and Communists, resided in Vienna, which was surrounded by the Soviet zone. Austria gained full independence in 1955 after years of negotiations influenced by the Cold War. On October 26, Austria declared its permanent neutrality, and today it is known as Austria's National Day. Tyrol, a lingering issue between Austria and Italy, was granted autonomy by the Italian national government. The political system of the Second Republic is based on the 1920 and 1929 Constitution, reintroduced in 1945. The system is characterized by proporz, where most political posts are split proportionally between the Social Democratic Party of Austria, SPO, and the Austrian People's Party, OVP. Interest group chambers with mandatory membership are usually consulted in the legislative process. Austria has governed through a single-party government twice since 1945, with interest group chambers influencing legislation. Kurt Waldheim, former UN Secretary General, was elected president from 1986 to 1992. Austria became a member of the European Union in 1995 after a referendum. The SPO and OVP have different opinions on the future status of Austria's military non-alignment. Austria participates in the EU's common foreign and security policy, peacekeeping, and NATO's Partnership for Peace. Government and politics. Austria's parliament is located in Vienna and is a federal, representative democratic republic. The political system of the Second Republic, with its 9 federal states, is based on the Constitution of 1920, amended in 1929 and reenacted on May 1, 1945. The president is the head of state, directly elected by popular majority vote, while the chancellor is the head of the government. The government can be removed from office by either a presidential decree or by vote of no confidence in the lower chamber of parliament, the Nationalrat. The Nationalrat is the dominant chamber in the legislative process in Austria, but the upper house of parliament, the Bundesrat, has a limited right of veto. A constitutional convention called the Österreich Convent was convened in 2003 to consider reforms to the constitution, but failed to produce a proposal that would command a 2/3 majority in the Nationalrat. The courts are the third branch of Austrian state powers, with the Constitutional Court Verfassungsgerichtshof exerting considerable influence on the political system. Since 1995, the European Court of Justice may overrule Austrian decisions in all matters defined in the laws of the European Union. Austria also implements the decisions of the European Court of Human Rights, since the European Convention on Human Rights is part of the Austrian Constitution. In 2006, the Social Democratic Party, SPO, emerged as the strongest party, and the Austrian People's Party, OVP, came in second. In 2007, the People's Party and SPO formed a grand coalition with the Social Democrat Alfred Gusenbauer as chancellor, which broke up in June 2008. In 2008, elections further weakened both major parties, but together they still held 70% of the votes. In 2013, the Social Democratic Party received 27% of the vote and 52 seats, while the People's Party received 24% and 47 seats. The Freedom Party received 40 seats and 21% of the votes, while the Greens received 12% and 24 seats. 2 new parties, Stronach and the NEOS, received less than 10% of the vote, and Christian Kern was sworn in as the new chancellor. In 2021, Austria disagreed with Bulgaria's and Romania's accession to the Schengen area, leading to Romania withdrawing its ambassador from Vienna, citizens being advised not to travel to Austria for skiing, and a boycott against Austrian companies like OMV and Raiffeisen. Austria, a sovereign state, declared its neutrality in 1955 following World War II. The country has since reassessed its definition of neutrality, granting overflight rights for UN-sanctioned actions against Iraq in 1991 and participating in the EU's common foreign and security policy since 1995. Austria also joined NATO's Partnership for Peace and participated in peacekeeping missions in Bosnia. The Austrian Armed Forces, Bundesheer, mainly relies on conscription, with all males reaching the age of 18 serving a 6-month compulsory military service, followed by an 8-year reserve obligation. Women volunteers have been allowed to become professional soldiers since 1998. The main sectors of the Bundesheer are joint forces, land forces, air forces, international missions, and special forces, along with Joint Mission Support Command and Joint Command Support Center. Austria is a landlocked country with no navy, and its defense expenditures correspond to approximately 0.8% of its GDP in 2012. The army currently has about 26,000 soldiers, with 12,000 being conscripts. The Austrian president is nominally the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and the Minister of Defense is Claudia Tanner. Since the end of the Cold War, the Austrian military has assisted border guards in preventing illegal immigration crossings. However, this assistance came to an end when Hungary and Slovakia joined the EU Schengen area in 2008, abolishing internal border controls between treaty states. Austrian armed forces may only be deployed in limited cases, mainly to defend the country and aid in national emergencies. With its self-declared status of permanent neutrality, Austria has a tradition of engaging in UN-led peacekeeping and humanitarian missions. The Austrian Forces Disaster Relief Unit, AFDRU, is known for its efficiency and quick deployment times. Geography: Austria is a mountainous country located in the Alps, with the Central Eastern Alps, Northern Limestone Alps, and Southern Limestone Alps all partly within the country. The country is divided into 5 areas, with the Eastern Alps accounting for 62% of the total area. The Austrian foothills at the base of the Alps and the Carpathians account for around 12%, while the Austrian Granite Plateau in the north accounts for 10%. The Austrian portion of the Vienna Basin makes up the remaining 4%. Fountain cover in Austria is around 47% of the total land area, with 2,227,500 hectares of naturally regenerating forest and 1,671,500 hectares of planted forest in 2020. The country belongs to the Central European province of the Circumboreal region within the Boreal Kingdom and can be subdivided into 4 ecoregions: Central European mixed forest, Pannonian mixed forest, Alps conifer and mixed forest, and Western European broadleaf forests. The climate in Austria is primarily cool/temperate, with humid westerly winds dominating. The alpine climate is predominant in the east, with continental features and less rain than the alpine areas. Austria has several climate types, including oceanic, cool/warm summer humid continental, subarctic/subalpine, tundra/alpine, and ice cap. Economy: Austria ranks high in GDP per capita due to its highly industrialized economy and well-developed social market economy. Privatization has reduced state holdings, with labor movements playing a significant role in economic expansion. Austria's international tourism is the most important part of its economy. Germany has historically been its main trading partner, making it vulnerable to rapid changes in the German economy. Since becoming a member of the European Union, Austria has gained closer ties to other EU economies, attracting foreign investors. The financial crisis of 2007 to 2008 negatively impacted Austria's economy, leading to the purchase of Hypo Alp Adria Bank International for €1. Austrian companies have been active players and consolidators in Eastern Europe since the fall of communism, with 4,868 mergers and acquisitions announced between 1995 and 2010. Tourism accounts for almost 9% of Austria's GDP, ranking 9th worldwide in international tourism receipts and 12th in international tourist arrivals. Austria produces more than half of its electricity through hydropower, with renewable energy sources accounting for 62.89% of the country's electricity supply. Austria is ecologically well endowed, with a biocapacity more than double the world average. In 2016, Austria used 6.0 global hectares of biocapacity, resulting in a biocapacity deficit. Demographics. Austria's population is estimated to be 9,170,647 as of April 2024, with Vienna being the largest city. The country is known for its cultural offerings and high standard of living. As of 2024, there were 1.8 million foreign-born residents, corresponding to 22.3% of the total population. The largest ethnic group in Austria is Turks, with around 350,000 people. However, due to recent migration trends, the number of Romanian nationals has surpassed the number of Turkish nationals. Serbs, Croats, Bosniaks, Macedonians, and Slovenes make up about 5.1% of Austria's total population. The total fertility rate, TFR, in 2017 was estimated at 1.52 children born per woman, below the replacement rate of 2.1. In 2015, 42.1% of births were to unmarried women. Austria had the 14th oldest population in the world in 2020, with an average age of 44.5 years. The life expectancy in 2016 was estimated at 81.5 years. The official language of Austria is German since 1920, standardized in Austria since the Ministry of Education, Science and Research published the Österreichisches Wörterbuch in 1951. The de facto common spoken languages are Bavarian and Alemannic dialects. The largest by far are 283,334 foreign nationals from the former Yugoslavia. Ethnic groups in Austria include Turks, Serbs, and non-Austrians. The Turks are the largest single immigrant group in Austria, followed by the Serbs. The Austrian-Serbian Society was founded in 1936, and today, the community is large. Non-Austrian immigrants come from surrounding countries, especially from the former East Bloc nations. Guest workers, descendants, and refugees from the Yugoslav wars and other conflicts also form an important minority group in Austria. Since 1994, the Romani people in Sini have been officially recognized as ethnic minorities in Austria. An estimated 13,000 to 40,000 Slovenes in Austria's federal state Carinthia, Croats, around 30,000, and Hungarians in Burgenland were recognized as a minority and have had special rights following the Austrian State Treaty Staatsvertrag of 1955. Austria, once a strongly Roman Catholic country, has experienced a decline in Christianity since the 1970s, with a significant increase in other religions. In 2001, 74% of Austria's population were registered as Roman Catholic, while about 5% considered themselves Protestants. Austrian Christians are obliged to pay a mandatory membership fee called the Kirchenbeitrag, ecclesiastical contribution, to their churches. From the second half of the 20th century, the number of adherents and churchgoers has declined, with Sunday church attendance being only 347,000, or 3.7% of the total Austrian population. The Lutheran Church recorded a loss of 74,421 adherents between 2001 and 2016. About 12% of the population declared themselves without a religion, which had grown to 20% by 2015 and further increased to 22.4%, 1,997,700 people, in 2021. In terms of education, Austria is entrusted partly to the Austrian federal states and partly to the national government. School attendance is compulsory for 9 years, usually to the age of 15. Preschool education, kindergarten in Austrian German, is provided for all children between the ages of 3 and 6 years, with a maximum class size of around 30. Primary education, or Volksschule, lasts for 4 years, starting at age 6. The 3 rupees, reading, writing, and arithmetic, dominate lesson time, with less time allotted to project work than in the UK. Secondary education consists of 2 main types of schools, gymnasium and Hauptschule. The gymnasium caters for more able children, while the Hauptschule prepares pupils for vocational education and various types of further education. Some schools aim to combine the education available at the gymnasium and the Hauptschule, known as Gesamtschulen. At the primary level, All pupils follow the same plan of work, with great emphasis on homework and frequent testing. Satisfactory marks in the end-of-the-year report, Zeugnis, are a prerequisite for moving up to the next class. It is not uncommon for a pupil to resit more than 1 year of school. After completing the first 2 years, pupils choose between one of two strands, known as gymnasium or real gymnasium. Austria, with a 0.9 health index and a life expectancy of 81 years, faces numerous health issues, including chronic conditions and lung cancer. Cancer is a major concern, with lung cancer being the primary cause. Health spending per capita in Austria ranks third in the EU, with health-related out-of-pocket expenditures higher than the EU average. Austria has one of the highest physician density in OECD countries, with 5.2 physicians per 1,000 inhabitants. However, a large share of physicians are tropical to retirement age, making them at a higher risk of developing severe conditions during COVID-19 infection. The number of nurses in Austria has been subject to debate due to the COVID-19 pandemic, with compulsory registration suspended in early 2020. This means professional activities in long-term superintendency may be possible without registration until the end of the pandemic by late spring 2022. Culture. Austria's rich cultural history has contributed to various forms of art, including music, science, and philosophy. The city was a significant center of musical innovation during the 18th and 19th centuries, with notable composers like Joseph Haydn, Michael Haydn, Franz Liszt, Franz Schubert, Anton Bruckner, Johann Strauss Sr., and Johann Strauss Jr. being born in Vienna. Austria's current national anthem, attributed to Mozart, was chosen after World War II to replace the traditional Austrian anthem by Joseph Haydn. Austria also played a significant role in science and philosophy, with prominent scientists such as Ludwig Boltzmann, Ernst Mach, Victor Franz Hess, and Christian Doppler. In the 20th century, contributions by Lise Meitner, Erwin Schrödinger, and Wolfgang Pauli to nuclear research and quantum mechanics were key to their development. Austrian philosophers like Ludwig Wittgenstein and Karl Popper were also born there. The country's science has always focused on medicine and psychology, with notable physicians like Theodor Billroth, Clemens von Perke, and Anton von Eiselsberg building upon the achievements of the 19th century Vienna School of Medicine. Austria was home to Sigmund Freud, Alfred Adler, psychologist Paul Watzlawick and Hans Asperger, and psychiatrist Viktor Frankl. Austria was ranked 18th in the Global Innovation Index in 2023. The Austrian School of Economics is a prominent competitive direction for economic theory, influenced by Austrian economists Karl Menger, Joseph Schumpeter, Eugen von Bohm-Bawerk, Ludwig von Mises, and Friedrich Hayek. Other notable Austrian-born émigrés include management thinker Peter Drucker, sociologist Paul Felix Lazarsfeld, and scientist Sir Gustav Nossau. Austria's cuisine is derived from the Austro-Hungarian Empire and is known for its well-balanced variations of beef, pork, and vegetables. It is also famous for its Mozartkugeln and coffee tradition, with the 6th highest per capita coffee consumption worldwide. Beer is sold in various sizes, and the most important wine-producing areas are in Lower Austria, Burgenland, Styria, and Vienna. Austria's sports scene is dominated by alpine skiing, snowboarding, ski jumping, bobsleigh, luge, and skeleton, with notable athletes like Anne-Marie Moser-Pröll, Franz Klammer, Hermann Mayer, Tony Saylor, Benjamin Reich, Marlies Schild, and Marcel Hirscher. The country also hosts the 1964 and 1976 Winter Olympics in Innsbruck and the first Winter Youth Olympics in 2012. The Austrian Football Association governs football, which was one of the most successful European football nations. However, it has not been internationally successful since the mid-20th century. The National Football League is the Austrian Bundesliga, which includes record champions SK Rapid Wien, FK Austria Wien, Red Bull Salzburg, and Sturm Graz. In addition to football, Austria has professional national leagues for most major team sports, including the Austrian Hockey League, Österreichische Basketball Bundesliga, and the Austrian Football League. Horseback riding is also popular, with the Spanish Riding School of Vienna located in Vienna. Factor 1 drivers like Niki Lauda, Gerhard Berger, and Johan Rindt have been champions in Austria, and the country hosts F1 races, such as the Austrian Grand Prix. Tennis players like Thomas Muster and Dominic Thiem have also made significant contributions to Austrian culture. Sport played a significant role in developing national consciousness and boosting self-confidence in the early years of the Second Republic after World War II. That wraps up our exploration of the beautiful Republic of Austria. From its rich history and cultural heritage to its breathtaking landscapes, Austria truly stands out as a unique destination. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Ibn Polo Batuta for more fascinating adventures through countries, cultures, and cities around the world. Let us know in the comments which Austrian landmark or tradition you'd love to experience firsthand. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next adventure